Good day, viewers. Welcome back to the Preaching Humanist with David Oliverio, that is I. Let's continue with the Humanist Manifesto. Manifesto is a declaration of beliefs. And when Christians or Muslims or whoever it is ask you, well, what do you believe in? You're a humanist, you're an atheist or agnostic. You got to believe in something. Well, we have things that we believe in. Many things. All right, number 4, life's fulfillment. Now, let me stop right there. This is where Christianity, in our Christian culture here in America, capitalizes on this word, fulfillment. You can't have a fulfilled life there, Mr. Atheist, without a relationship with Jesus, without going to church, without belief in a God. No, you're wrong. Because we believe that life's fulfillment emerges from individual participation in the service of humane ideals. You can live a life of fulfillment. Now, there are many ways to do that. Secular humanism desires that all people have a life of fulfillment, that all people flourish, and that's another good definition of secular humanism. The flourishing of humanity. We want every individual to live a good life above poverty, above hatred, above discrimination and racism. We want people to live above disease and sickness. We want to eliminate suffering in the world. We want people to have good, healthy, moral, ethical, and fulfilled lives. We want people to enjoy the joys of human existence. Sad to say, there are a lot of people in this world with 7.5 billion people approximately on planet Earth now that do not have a chance to live a fulfilled life. They live in poverty. They live in strict poverty under totalitarianism and so forth in different countries. But our aim and goal is that all can live fulfilled life. My question is, do you have a fulfilled life? Have you entered that realm in your life that you can say, I've lived a fulfilled, happy life? And if I were to die, I could say, I'm okay, I'm ready with death. Now, I can say at my age, and let me give a little personal experience. I've had people say, well, David, you're 62 now. You should be giving more experiences of life to other people. Well, I got a few wrinkles in my little roadmap of life and some gray hairs. Sure, I've been through things, made a lot of mistakes, but I've learned, evolved, and I continue to mature, and my goal is to become a more fully developed, ethical, moral, adult, mature human being. That's my goal. That's what secular humanism promotes because it is a superior ethical belief system compared to religions and the Bible and the Quran. So we can have a fulfilled life. So the question is, have you come to that point in your life you could say you have a fulfilled life? If someone told me, David Oliverio, you have a disease, you will die in a week, and you have a year to live or a couple days to live, I can honestly say that I'm okay to go. I'm okay right now because I have lived a fulfilled life, not a perfect life, but I'm happy and I'm fulfilled. You can pull the plug if you need to. I'm all right. And I'm just going to fall asleep and go into nothingness like I did before I was born. Have no fear of death. So life fulfillment, we want all people to live a life of fulfillment. Number 5, humans are social by nature. Even believers would agree with us on that point and that fact. We are a social species by nature, and we find meaning in relationships. There's another key word that Christianity has played on for thousands of years. How do you find meaning in your life without belief in a God? We, as a social species, find meaning in life with and within relationships. No man, no woman is an island to themselves. Social sciences and all the other major sciences, overwhelming evidence and personal experience at my age, I can tell you that people that are so introverted and isolated away from relationships with other people are not the happiest people. There may be a small percentage of people that can actually succeed and find fulfillment and meaning in life without the relationship of others. It's very challenging and difficult. It's possible, highly unlikely. Most people that have a meaningful life find their meaning in life in relationships with other people. Now, let me quote from Professor Anthony Pinn. He is a professor at Rice University in Houston. I can't wait to meet this guy because I've read many of his books. He's a former Christian preacher, a strong atheist, and even stronger secular humanist. Anthony Pinn, quote, "The markers of meaningful existence." This is a good one. Listen to this closely. "The markers of meaningful existence are only measurable," quantitative data here, "are only measurable within the context of something larger than yourself." Most of us would agree, even believers, getting out of yourself, finding something more important than you. It's not just about yourself. You can find meaning in life. And number 6, I like this one. Working to benefit society. Now, isn't that the thing we hear from believers all the time? You atheists and humanists are selfish. You're greedy. It's all about you. No, it ain't. Because we find that to benefit others, those that are less fortunate, to benefit society, maximizes individual happiness. Aristotle talked about that. Epicurus, my favorite, talked about it. The Greek and Roman philosophers all the way up through David Hume and into modern society. We all know that when we are evolved in helping other people, benefiting others, it's a life of happiness. No one can succeed nor remain successful without the friendly cooperation of others. Most of us would agree. Now, I have a friend that has been going through some very deep depression lately. He's a fellow atheist and fellow secular humanist. As you know by now, I go out on Saturday mornings, if I'm not out public speaking somewhere, out here locally to feed homeless people, and then out to some type of activism with those signs that you've seen me show many, many times of activism. This friend of mine was going through a deep state of depression. He didn't want to go out with anybody else. He wanted to be alone. And I encouraged him to come out with me to feed homeless people and to go out and in public and do some activism with our signs. He agreed. He wasn't feeling very good. He walked out there under the bridge when I was feeding homeless people. He looked dejected. He looked very sad and depressed. Depression is not a good thing. I don't like to see people suffer. So he was out there helping other people that are less fortunate with no homes, nothing to eat, no roof over their head. And then we went out to help other people to understand what secular humanism is, pushing back against the religious right and so forth, all the things we do. I asked this individual, how do you feel now, my friend? How do you feel after you spent 2 hours of giving food to less fortunate people that live on the street and going out and talking to people and being nice to Christians and putting a face on that which is being demonized? And you know what he said? He smiled and said, I feel better. I feel happy. Why? Pretty simple concept. He got his mind off of himself and reached out to other people. Happiness? Oh, yeah. People say it all the time. David, how can you be happy? Your happiness is fake. You're an atheist, David. You say you're happy. You say you're moral, but it's just a lie of the devil. I get that almost every weekend from people. It's crazy. I know. I get it. Let me tell you one quick preacher story, then I close. Let me tell you about Apple Store Baptist Deacon. Apple Store Baptist Deacon I met at an Apple store at the mall in South Austin a few months ago. I had to go in and get my phone repaired from these smart millennials because I don't know much about technology. Here's my phone, which messes up sometimes. So I went in, sat down at a table, waiting for the next assistance from a professional person there. So sitting at the table, and there must have been 7 other people waiting for our help to arrive, right? And there were mostly millennials around, young people, college-age students, high school students. But there was an older man, probably in his 40s or 50s. He was on a mission. An Apple Store Baptist deacon guy, I was right in my assumption. He was on a mission. He was out to show the love of Jesus and to share it with people. I knew the look. I used to do it. I could smell it a mile away from an evangelical Christian. People say, you're like a hound dog. You can tell, yes, I can tell, by the look on their face usually, by their actions, their behavior, and of course, their verbiage and what they say. He started in on some young millennial next to him at the table about how blessed he was and so forth. No one said anything. They didn't want to stand up against the bully. And yes, he was a bully. He looked at me and he said, "Hey, sir, how are you today?" I said, "I'm good." And we got talking, and immediately he went into his little spiel, which I did 30 and 40 years ago. He said, I've been married for 20 years. He must have been in his 40s or 50s. And I'm blessed because of God. I said, "Wow, really?" And I was thinking, what an opportunity. And let me make it relevant to happiness because I'm getting to it. Hang with me here. So he looked around at everybody and he said, "I'm blessed because God put me with a woman. Only because of God, whatever, I have a happy marriage." And I said, "Oh, interesting." I said, "I'm actually an atheist." I always smile. "I'm an atheist." And he didn't like that. And I said, "And I am about to be married to my sweetie Christine. We've been together 4 years and we're both atheists. And we just find a good life together because we have a lot in common. We have coincidental philosophies. We believe the same things, just like you and your wife. There's nothing supernatural there." And he got angry. And I said, "I'm an atheist and I've never been happier." Now, I said the word, I've never been happier as an atheist than when I was a Christian. He didn't like that. Now, somebody, myself, took the time to stand up against Christian supremacy. And if you let these things go, people, Christian supremacy rules and reigns. They don't like us to be equal with them. Now, you could hear a pin drop, all these young millennials around there. They were frightened, like, "Oh my gosh, somebody's standing up to this Christian bully." And I said, "Yep, never been happier." And I looked at him, and he went like this. He said, "That's impossible." I said, "What is that, sir? What's impossible?" He goes, "It is impossible." I'm trying to look angry like he did. "It's impossible for an atheist to be happy." And wow, you looked around, and I'm thinking to myself, here I am. I got a crowd. The old preacher me came out. The more people, the better. Like a light just turned on. And I looked around, and I said, "Sir, let me tell you." And I looked him right in the eye, and I smiled. "What you just said is 100% wrong, and let me tell you why." And I told him how you can find happiness and meaning and fulfillment in life without belief in a God. Boy, he didn't like that. Eventually, he left. He was red in the face and angry. And the millennials looked around. A couple of them looked up at me. This young lady looked at me, and she goes, Now, my helper came, this young man, probably in his 30s, sat down with me to help me with my technology. He goes, "Wow." I said, "What's that?" He goes, "I heard the whole thing." He goes, "I wish I could do that." He told me his story. He was once a very strong Christian. He's now an atheist. Yeah, you can find happiness. So let me recap. Again, Humanist Manifesto. We believe in having fulfilled lives without belief in God's. We want everybody to flourish. We want all humanity to be happy. Next one was meaning in life. You can find meaning in life with relationships with other people. And the last was individual happiness. We get outside of ourselves and we help other people that are less fortunate. To benefit society brings happiness. And here we have natural explanations for all these metaphysical, existential questions and answers that Christians and Muslims and people that believe in the supernatural have. We got it right here on this place called Earth as humans and as secular humanists. A good life. Let's share it with other people. So thanks a lot for watching the Preaching Humanist. Have a wonderful day.